Hey guys, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I want to thank you for the continuous support, suggestions, and phone calls. Today we have a part 2 of our St. Thomas vlog where we actually go into how is it that we feed silage. As in that we're pushing farmers with the drought period coming to conserve fodder so we can feed it out during this time and to ensure that we have quality nutrition being fed to our animals and to reduce the impact of our body condition loss based on not preparing for the dry period. So let us go with Peter and Miss Martin, our RADA officers in the field.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Peter.
Right, very good, very good. So let me welcome each and every one of you here today. We spoke about the last time. Anybody can guide me through that process again?
Making silage or zero grazing.
Okay. Alright.
We talk about is making silage and the steps of making it.
Okay. So can somebody remind me of the steps in silage production?
Silage production, the first step is to get the fodder and get it milled, get it grind, and you get your molasses and you put it together and you wait for the fermentation, which is why we are here today, so that it's fermented.
Preparation for both rainy season and drought season. And there are different stages in your preparation of your silage. And farmers will have to, after preparation, within a month, it's supposed to be ready for use. But we are here this morning for the other segment. I could have gone through the whole process, you know, like the last time, but not necessary.
Alright, thank you very much, guys. I'm going to Alright, so we went through where we did that Mr. Levy just mentioned. We do it in preparation for the drought or the rainy season. As well as some persons who are on a total zero grazing, meaning that they don't carry out their animals to graze any at all. Yeah. This is one means by which they can use feed or produce feed for their animals. We have some persons who live in the urban areas. You know, urban areas don't really have much of any grass or forage. So this is a method that they employ to actually provide the adequate nutrition for the animals. Yesterday I was in Lloyd's, and while I was up there and I looked in the hills, I realized that everything was brown. So that is telling me that there, sooner or later, we might not have enough grass to feed all the animals. So what is going to happen is that our animals are going to start to fall off of condition. They start to lose body weight because they're not getting the right or the adequate nutrition. Alright? So today we are here. We have went through the whole process of silage production, and now today we are going to learn how we actually introduce it to the animals. Yeah. What do you think will happen if we just introduce them to the feed? Just put the silage on them.
The system will break down because the system don't really use that feed. So then they may have diarrhea. That's one. You know, diarrhea is the main complaint with that. That is sweet, so they eat so much. So you say when sweet and they go down the belly, you see?
So we say we have the good, we have the bad, and we have the not so good. So once we feed it, we just introduce it to them immediately. We can come up with resistance, we can come up with digestive disorders or disruptions, so they end up with diarrhea. Silage, we have to do it in a phase. So Mr. Mr. Brown will actually go through the entire process of how we do it, as well as now we have produced the silage. It has come to the maturity stage. So we need to know, when we open our bag of silage, what are the good characteristics? What are the bad characteristics? What do we look for when we open that bag? Okay, we might open a bag and then we smell something like rum, and we say, no, this is not good. It don't smell so right. You understand? But we're going to find out if that is a normal scent for silage, and if the goats are willing to accept that or acquire that kind of taste. As well as if we open the bags and we see some white things on the silage, did the process go through okay, or was it not okay? Alright? So these questions will be answered today. If you have any other question or during the process, feel free to ask. Don't be shy. Learn as much as you can. Alright? So at this point, I'm going to ask Miss Martin, the parish manager for RADA, to give her welcome.
Thank you very much, Ms. Watson. Again, it's a pleasure to be here. And what I really am appreciative of, the same farmers took their time out to come back to ensure that the knowledge gained on the first phase of the training in silage production, that it can be transferred now so that they are able to feed their animals with the product that we have made. So that is a plus, and I congratulate you, the farmers, for really staying and sticking to it. It is important because right as we speak now, persons are here complaining about the dryness in Yalas area. And so that is something that is going to affect the feed, the fodder that is out there that you normally use. So it is critical now that this process of silage production and feeding it to the animals is important. So in moving from the fodder to the silage, as was said by Peter Gay, that cannot be done just like that. You have to put them in stage. You have to mix the silage with some fodder so that the animal can accept and can appreciate their new feed. Just like the baby, you have to introduce them to food, new food, from milk to food. Is similar thing with the animal. Any drastic change will eventually change their condition in terms of their digestive status, and also may affect their body weight because they might resent the feed, and so it may affect the body weight of the animal. So we want to maintain good agricultural practices. So hence we are here today to complete the process.
Going to move to the process of actually feeding out the silage. So things we need in order to feed out the silage. We need our animals, right? We actually need the silage, right? And we need some freshly cut forage as a means of introducing the process or the silage to the animals. But before we actually feed out the silage, we have to actually inspect the bags that were made, just to ensure that they are of quality before we feed it out. If we feed out the silage that is of a poor quality, our animals again can come down with digestive disruptions, or they can actually pick up some bacteria from the process if it was not done properly. But we know that we have done an excellent process during the making of the bag, so we have nothing to worry about. Alright? So now we move towards our bag.
Oh, don't say wrong. Alright. Make we talk about this. This kind of shows that the first time at the top we had a problem with. Yes, so we have a little mold growth at the top. This is normal. That's why sometimes I tell you, say, yo, try put a lot of molasses on the top to avoid this. But let us remove this. Let us remove this and let us see what we have underneath. So we throw off, we discard the top. You seen any more going down through the layers? That means it was compact properly. It's only on the top we have that problem. So we can say this is okay. Right? See, we see we're digging deeper. We're not seeing any molds. No molds at all. That means this was done properly. And what you guys notice out there, what kind of smell you getting out of it? It smell like rum. Smell like it ferment properly, which is a very good thing. If it smells bad, you will have a foul odor. And you yourself would want to. This smell like me like drink it if it was rum. If it was rum. Right? So I can say, guys, this was very well done. I'm really impressed that we did it so well. So yeah, for the first time, you guys did well. Just the as you can see, it didn't even go 2 inches into it. It was just right on the top where we had that tie. So this is good, guys. Let us now look into mixing this with our freshly cut forage, and I'm going to give you a ratio. This is perfect. And introducing silage. This one to me is not even that bad because it is so dry and smells so good. But we still have to go through a process. As what Miss Martin said and Peter Gay said, we should introduce this a little bit slowly, and we want to add it with freshly chopped forages. So I work with this ratio. I normally work with 70% of my fresh forage to 30% of the silage at first. And I will do that for 2 days. So after the 2 days now, I'll go to a 50-50 mix. 50% of the silage, 50% of the fresh forage. And then I'll go so and switch it now back to the 70-30. 70 silage, 30 grass, and then by day 6 or day 7 we can have 100% silage being fed to the animals. So you want to introduce this slowly over a 1 week period. But if your animals them get used to it, you might can just feed it out just as is, because what we're really trying to not affect is the rumen. You guys know that we deal with ruminants and they have the rumen. The rumen have bacteria inside that sometimes they get used to a particular ingredient. So if they're used to being fed fresh forages, you'll have a particular set of bacteria that will work on this fresh forage. When you switch that diet so quickly now, the bacteria is like, hey, what you doing? We have to produce a different set. And that is why now you have a problem with the rumen probably giving you either diarrhea or you might even cause bloat. So that is a problem we might face. So we say introduce feed slowly, and this is any feed, not just grass. Bag feed, switching to sugar cane, anything we want to introduce slowly. So make we now quickly mix our silage with our fresh forage. And in this case, guys, with how this is looking, I would just do a 50-50 mix at the get-go. This is really well done silage. I can tell you that. I don't see animals having a lot of problems. It's not that moist. The smell is perfect. So let us just mix half of this bag, which we're saying is about 50 pounds, to 50 pounds of grass, and start with a 50-50 mix for animals. Alright? So let's go. Alright, make we talk about some silage quality checks. So if I was supposed to come here and test the quality of silage, I look for 2 things first. I look for the pH. Right? Because remember, this is a fermentation process and we want this thing to become acidified. So I would look for a range between 3.5 to 4.2 on my pH meter. You can easily buy a pH meter at any normal store, or you make a RADA officer get equipped and can do some silage checks for you. What is also as important is the temperature. If it's too hot, if you're taking it out and you feel like it is still have a lot of heat inside of it, that means the process is still taking place, which might be a very bad thing because we expect this now to be silage by now. Right? Outside of that, when the system get better, and I know like Boardle's supposed to have a nutrition lab coming on stream, which we are used to work, we'll probably send this sample now to Boardle's and get a nutrient test. And we'll look for like the fiber content. We look for the crude protein. And that can give us an evaluation of how the grass quality is. And with that, as a nutritionist, I'll kind of give you an adjustment to say, boy, if it's about 7% crude protein or 9% crude protein, I kind of give you a guide to say, boy, you probably need to feed probably 2 pounds of our grains or less, depending on the quality of the forage. So in this case, you guys have your guinea grass, lucina, and a dried guinea grass mix. To me, this is ideal. Because what you're doing now is you're balancing that carbon to nitrogen ratio. The carbon is coming from your grass, and your nitrogen is coming from your lucina, which provides you with the protein. And that mix is what your rumen bacteria need to digest this feed properly. And let me tell you a little bit about that. And it's important. That's where it comes down to protein efficiency. The bacteria, when it enters the rumen, a lot of the protein that we give inside the animal is actually utilized by the bacteria to break down the fiber. That is the process, remember that. That is why we have to feed protein at certain high levels depending on how fibrous this grass is. So that is why farmers that feed strictly hay and grain, you see that performance. Because the hay give you the fiber, and then I will give you that high quality protein inside the grain, so you have that balanced ration inside the rumen. So this, guys, is you basically making your own forage mix with protein. And I can say it's a good mix. So make we just mix it up and make we introduce to the animals, and we're going to look for particular behavior by the animal. If they smell it and not want it, or how quickly you see them gravitate to it. That is what we want to look for. So outsider, you're physically checking the bag, mixing it. We want to now observe the animal's behavior to when we start feeding them this.
Okay, for feed.
You know the molasses?
The molasses are the center mass.
How will you say?
You can't get no molasses.
So if we want, we could add little molasses to it to, improve the palatability. But to me, this look good. This look good, guys. Look good. And the benefits of feeding silage. Who know? Who knows some of the benefits of feeding silage?
First thing is save your time.
Yes. Save your time is one, yes.
And time is money.
No doubt.
Yeah, and they know it, and it saves the parasite load, because when you run out of grazing at the same year on a regular basis,
great.
Parasite they build up and the animal keep eating the same thing. So this coming from a fresh place where animal never walk.
Yes, yes.
So then you wouldn't have that parasite load.
And
this.
Fodder,
right?
Well said, well said, well said. Outside that, silage also increase the animal intake. Why? Because the grass is a little bit more succulent. So him can consume more. And because we have a little breakdown of the fiber, it let it a little bit more enriched.
Because it is finer, because you were shredded.
Yes. We get better consumption, no doubt. So the overall benefit, personally for me, is that increase in dry matter intake. And dry matter intake ultimately lead to more milk or more meat production. Okay. That is the benefit of feeding silage. Alright, that's a good question. You want to know how we add molasses to the feed. My recommendation normally is, well, I did a research the other day and I was kind of testing like how the animal would take it, and at the same time I was looking at the effect of different levels of the molasses on silage. And to be honest with you, I found that even at 1% of the volume of the feed, it's just as good. Some books tell us they want to put 5% of the volume. We did 5%. And it didn't show any significant different results than at 1%. So I can say if it's 100 pounds, you just want 1 pound of molasses. 1% of your diet. And you'll be fine with that. Alright?
The silage with the forage, but can we use fruits and vegetables to make silage?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I remember one time I had a debate about feeding callaloo to animals. Callaloo, yes, can cause problems if you feed it fresh. But one of the things that you can do to remove the toxins out of callaloo is to ensile it. And for a lot of other products that have problems, you run it through this fermentation process, it breaks down the toxins and render it a little bit better for your animals to eat. Okay. So silage is really a good method to preserve and protect from other bad toxins that you can get. For example, sorghum. Sorghum have what you call prussic acid inside of it, and that is why we try to cut sorghum and ensile it to remove that toxin out of it so you can feed sorghum.
We are kind of in the mango season.
Okay.
And I realize a lot of farmers are feeding their animals with mangoes. Mm-hmm. So we know the issue with overfeeding of mangoes. Yes. So I was wondering, as a long-term benefit, if you could actually ensile the mangoes for
Yes, you can ensile mangoes. That would be very good too. And the benefit of ensiling mangoes is that you wouldn't have to add any molasses. It already have the sugar content inside of it. The most I'll probably add to it is an inoculant to kind of guide the direction at the ensiling process, but you can just ensile mangoes just like that. Lock it up airtight, and that's it.
It's like a stale mango.
Mm-hmm.
The mango rotten.
Alright, I have a problem with the rotten mango. The rotten mango, because it might have bad bacteria on it and fungus, it can spoil it. So I'll try to get it as fresh as possible, or even wash it to kind of take off some of the bad bacteria and then ensile it myself like that. So that's a good idea, to ensile mangoes. Yes man, guango perfect to mix with the silage. Have mango. So yeah man, that is something that St. Thomas might have to look into, you know, ensiling mango. You mean what? If what?
If I put that up now,
So then just come in.
Them eat it same way. Yeah man, them love guango man. Guango balance, you know. Guango it come from the leguminous pod, so it's high in protein, and then because it's so sweet, it has energy. So it's the same thing we're talking about, that carbon to nitrogen ratio, perfect in the guango, and it have the fiber, so it's like a complete meal for them really.
Drink water. And
Yeah man, the guango bad man.
like a kasha. I love it kasha, man. I love it.
The kasha pod them. Yeah man, them eat kasha pod too. In Africa it's a big thing they feed. Kasha pod. Grind it up and feed it. It's like a grain for them in some places in Africa. Shine. Yeah man. Them say it have a lot of benefits inside of it, like it help with deworming the animal because of some we call high tannin diets. And that is a benefit of the Lucina too. It have high tannins inside of it, so it help deworm them, and it's what you call now bypass protein. So instead of it being destroyed inside the rumen, it go to the true stomach, and then now they can put on the weight. So them look shiny and them like them put on the weight using Lucina. That's one of the benefits side. Condensed tannins. Because we know you are the encyclopedia. The man have memory coming like an elephant.
Like an elephant.
Yes man.
Alright, basically, here is a process of a 30-70 process. That's for a 2-day cycle. Then you can increase to 50 with foliage and silage.
Yes.
And then that go for 2 days, and then after you go back to your 70-30. 70% silage, 30% foliage. And basically after that you're good to go.
100% silage. Well said, Papa. Well said.
with my input, might be it's because I was giving them the silage before.
Okay. So them used to it now.
Them used to it. So automatically, if it was the first time for them, I would have more pick out the fresh feed.
No
So
doubt.
there's a difference with it.
Okay. Alright, thank you everyone. So we learned that when we're feeding the silage, we do it actually in stages. First when we are mixing the grass, we mix it at a ratio at 70-30 and then 50-50. Then we switch it around for the fresher grass, 70-30, until we have a complete acceptance of the silage. Alright, we learned that when we pull or before we actually feed out the silage, we have to actually assess the silage bag to ensure that it is of the quality that we need. When we pull the bag, we assess the pH, we assess the temperature, we assess the smell, and we assess the looks of the silage. If we have too much molds growing right throughout the silage, we discard that one, because what it is saying to us is that some air went in and the bacteria starts to grow on the silage. If it has a foul odor, it doesn't smell to our liking, we know that this is also a bad batch of silage. If the temperature is too high, it is also indicating to us that the bacteria in the silage are actually still working, so the process is not completed. Alright? So those are the things that we assess when we pull the bag of silage. Now our perfectly done silage would have basically a normal temperature to say. a fermented odor which smells, if you want to see, smells more like the rum, and in some essence it would be not too moist. Alright, now when also using the silage, we try to use the silage on the same day because we don't want to leave it over, because once it's open, the bacteria goes inside the bag and it starts to break it down. Alright? So that's kind of a recap of the entire session.
So that's how we're going to use it.
That will be used well later.
Okay, the day after we leave here, I asked Mr. Brown if those barrels could use.
Yes.
He told me yes, and I went ahead the next day and tried, and I got it perfect. So we can also get those drums whereby we can touch them more time.
Okay.
Yeah, because I tried with that one, there wasn't any difference.
No difference, it's the same. Yeah, man.
Only one thing I did is put some line thought inside with plastic.
Yes, yes.
And after I compact it and finish up, I fold over the
Plastic on top of it. Yes.
And seal around it. And lock it.
And lock it. Perfect.
I got it perfect.
Perfect,
So we can
perfect.
also try to get those to use as well.
If you can't get the bags.
You can't get the box.
Protect the paper bag.
Right, from soaking.
Oh, is it
Yes, 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 we smart.
Okay.
Alright.
You can't get the plastic one.
Making and those stuff, very important, feeding the animal in the drought season. I say yes, I learned something more important about it. Thank you again. RADA, it's what's on, miss.
Yeah, big up.
Can I say yes?
Yeah.
Alright.